We're gonna just wait a couple minutes, make sure everyone has time to join. Thank you everyone for your patience. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We just wanted to wait a couple more minutes for everyone to join. We're ready to get started now. My name is Susie and I'm the president of RMPA and I work at BMC on 4 Medical. I've been there 9 years.
Hi, everybody. I'm Danielle Mahabir. I am the area rep chair and I am also a nurse in the Med-Surg Oncology department at O'Connor Hospital. I've been with the county now over 10 years, and I'm very happy to be here with you all today.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Lilian Acosta, internal organizer with RMPA.
And we have James online, who's one of the negotiators. Go ahead, James.
Hi, guys. I'm a negotiator for the board. My name is James. I work at SLRH ICU. I've been a nurse for 28 years. And I have some other members here too.
Hi, I'm Debbie, our RMPA consultant, and then we also have Gerald. Bye, George.
Hello, I'm Gerald, internal organizer, RMPA.
Do I have anybody else on the line from RMPA?
It's Tiffany, RMPA Vice President. I'm here too.
Great.
Hi, everyone. My name is Henry Soria. I'm an association representative with RMPA. Excited to be here with everyone this afternoon.
Hello, everybody. This is Ryan, Publications Chair.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So we sent out the agenda to everybody. Hopefully everybody got it. So what we're going to do in the meeting today is we're going to kind of go through the agenda point by point and just address all of those. And then at the very end, we'll kind of address individual questions and comments and kind of have a discussion. So without further ado, I will start with the first item on the agenda, which is furloughs. So this is something that's really concerning. I just gonna back up a little bit and let you all know that right now is a really unprecedented time in our nation. Our world, our nation, California, and therefore the county as a trickle-down effect. Many people who have worked with the county for any number of years understand that the county is always talking about budget and deficit and budget, and it's always, there's always never enough money. So this is not foreign to any of us. However, in light of the current cuts that are on the table for Medicaid and Medi-Cal specifically in California, and the budget shortfall that California is facing, the county is facing down a shortfall of potentially in excess of $400 million a year. So just to give you guys a little bit of understanding of where the county has been, it's this most recent budget, when after acquiring regional, the county was facing a budget shortfall of 70 million. So even just before that budget came out, the county was looking for ways to save money. I'm not sure how big the deficit was last year. I don't remember that number offhand, but I know it wasn't close to 70 million. I think it was closer to I don't know.
I don't remember.
You don't remember. Anyway, maybe someone on the line remembers, but I know it wasn't close to 70 million. It was less than that, less than half of that, I'm pretty sure. So county is already looking for ways to save money. And one of the ways that they have identified is, according to section 5.15 of our MOU with the county, that is the area of the contract that they refer to, that is that they are invoking in order to temporarily furlough nurses. So the way that the contract is worded, it has to be tied to a decrease in census, where basically the unit is overstaffed. So this language has been invoked in several units across the enterprise. Most notoriously, this is being invoked in St. Louis in the ICU, but it's also happened in other areas too. There are many different violations that RMPA has identified that the county has perpetrated, and mostly they pertain to the lack of following the order of the contract. So there's multiple different steps that they have to take in order to say they checked the boxes to furlough nurses, before they can furlough nurses. This includes offering them to do mandatory trainings, that's your health link or your CPR, or if there's projects that you play a part on your unit, they have to allow you to do that. They have to allow you to have experience in another unit for an educational experience. So there's things that nurses can ask for if your management is ever telling you you're furloughed, and the contract supports all of that. So we have several different grievances out against the county right now for these specific to these furloughs, in regards to the fact that they're not following the own furlough language that's in the contract. So we are demanding transparency, and we are preparing for further formal action. We need your help. Obviously, any time that this happens, we need you guys to inform us, let us know the circumstances so that we can investigate and capture as much information as possible regarding the furlough. And then I will just, having said what I said about budget cuts and the impact, this is kind of a natural flow to the next area of the agenda that I already kind of started with. It is a really good idea for everybody on this meeting to really understand and familiarize yourselves with the entire area section 5 of the contract, because this is the area of the contract that talks about layoff in general. If the county is facing down seriously a $400 million budget shortfall just at the state level before any federal cuts come through, this is going to be devastating for our system. And there's no way for me to sugarcoat that. I've been stressing in every single meeting that I have to any single nurse that I talk to that we are facing like potentially devastating cuts to our public healthcare system, and the time is not now to be silent or to bury our heads in the sand about this. This is really real. This is not fear mongering. This is not scare tactics. This is reality of what's coming, and there's no way for me to sugarcoat it. So the budget cuts will be devastating, and we will fight as much as we can, but there's going to be realities that we're going to have to face. So with that, I urge everybody to look at the language of Section 5 in its entirety. And in the past, we've just been focusing on the temporary one, 5.15, but the whole section, people need to be familiar. But we are fighting back, the good news. So the next item on the agenda is the Sacramento Trip. So we are fighting back. We had a small but mighty cohort of our RNPA nurses and our board members and representatives. We actually went to Sacramento and we pounded on the doors of lawmakers to urge them to fight for us, for our patients, for our community. And the reason for that is because California is currently trying to balance its budget, and it is due, I think, on the 15th, Henry? 17th?
That's correct, the 15th.
15th. So they have a legal requirement to balance the state budget. They don't have the option to shut down like the Fed. They have to actually, according to the state constitution, they have to ratify the budget. And so we were urging them to cut from anywhere else that's not going to be affecting Medi-Cal. The current recipients of Medi-Cal, there are ideas on the table to completely shut down any sort of coverage for undocumented individuals. There have been talks of floating a $100 mandatory fee for any individual recipient of Medi-Cal. So for a family of 5, that would mean $500 a month. I don't have to tell anybody on this line about how so many individuals, patients that we care for, the difference between $100 and $0 for them is life-changing, and they will have to choose between medical care and food for their children. So again, no sugarcoating that. These were the kinds of things that we went to the lawmakers and we just begged them and pleaded with them to help to protect our public safety net, health and hospital system, because just like you know, we value the work that we do so much in our county, and if the money is cut and services are cut, people will die.
Yeah, I want to add to that. We have some documentation that we were provided with, and just so you guys know that SCVH, so our enterprise, is the predominant provider of Medi-Cal services. About 40% of Medi-Cal, of our patients, it's 40% of our patients get the Medi-Cal, and it's 1.9 billion in revenue, which is 52% of SCVH's budget. So SCVH serves the largest share of Medi-Cal patients. So going to Sacramento was crucial, and letting them know like this is going to be devastating for us, right? And at the forefront, it's patient care, and we know what happens when patients can't go see their primary care doctor. It really impacts ED, it impacts flow, it impacts like our and before that.
Yeah, it's devastating. And Henry was one of our association reps that has a lot more information about everything that we did that day. Henry, did you want to jump in and kind of let them know a little bit more details?
Yes, thank you. So I just want to congratulate the nurses from across the system that volunteered to step out of their comfort bubble and go to Sacramento to have these very important conversations that day. It was the 28th. We met with representatives or the senators and assembly members themselves, some Senator Becker's office, Wahab, Parolin, Aarons, Cortese, Berman, Lee, whose mom was actually a nurse. He retired from the county. Also Speaker Rivas and Calra, to really emphasize the importance of, to keep in context here, we're talking about cuts that the state is considering. That's in addition to cuts that we're looking at from the federal government. And so I wanted to make sure to congratulate the nurses that went. We're hoping for a positive outcome on the 15th. We received a lot of positive feedback, including creating new revenue measures for the county to bring in revenue from very wealthy individuals to help fund the enterprise and keep the services and the work that you provide going. But in addition to all of that work that we did, our work is not done. We have cuts that are coming from the federal government, and so those are even far more significant than the cuts being considered by the state right now. So I wanted to encourage everyone, number one, to recognize that, one, we are currently in negotiations right now. We have a contract, but the foundation for our next round of negotiations and our next contract is being determined right now by Sacramento and Washington, D.C. And everyone here on this call can have an impact on what that foundation is going to be like when we go into negotiations, and also whether we're going to be getting furloughs throughout the enterprise. Not just St. Louis has been hit hard, but we would be able to anticipate the spread of furloughs throughout the enterprise. So I really want to encourage everyone to recognize that everyone here is an owner of what happens and the outcome. So if you are interested in shaping the outcome of your working conditions and the care you're able to provide, please send us an email or speak to one of your organizers. My email is henry@rmpa.net. Let us know if you're interested in going to our next round of lobbying, because we very well may need to be going back to Sacramento to mitigate the cuts that we received from the federal government. So please, we wanted to share this information with you about the phenomenal work that was done earlier in May to mitigate the cuts from the state, but our work's not done. So please reach out to your organizer or email me at henry@rmpa.net, so that when the cuts come from the feds, we are ready to act, to go lobby the senators and the assembly members and the governor to protect the services and the care that you provide that makes your work possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you so much. So
I just want to make a quick, so I'm gonna make a quick correction, because I was reading 40% of Medi-Cal, it's total patient days, but it's actually 50% of SCVH patients. So that's 226,000 patients within our enterprise that are covered by Medi-Cal. So I just want to make that correction.
thank you so much. So really, really astounding numbers of our patients. That's half of our patients receive this funding, and cuts to them is cuts to you down the line. So for those of you who are on the line that you're thinking about your next raise in our next contract negotiation, I just cannot stress enough that now is the time to really put your boots on the ground, because this is going to affect you. It's going to affect your paycheck. It's going to affect your family. It's going to affect your patients, your community, your friends, your neighbors. It's coming. So we need to really band together. There's no other way I can put this. Continuing on with the same subject, So this is about the removal of EAU and the ADT RNs. So we actually have Tiffany on the line, who is going to be directly affected by this. This is one of the administrative organizational adjustments that the county has decided to make.
Call it restructuring.
Restructuring.
Re-engineering.
Re-engineering.
Those words are bad words.
And they use that term to kind of give them carte blanche, and we have repeatedly ad nauseum over and over told them that RNPA has to have a seat at the table before they make any of these decisions. And time again, they continue to assure us that they're interested in having a collaborative approach, and then their actions go the direct opposite direction. So they did not inform us of these proposed changes until like a very short time before it was set to go in front of the Board of Supervisors. And like, make no mistake, we are livid, we are fighting, we are pushing back as much as we can with all our might. And I'm just gonna continue to reiterate that the more involvement that we have from you, our membership, our nurses, the more powerful and more elevated our voices become. So I'm not sure if Tiffany wants to jump in and kind of illuminate us on like the personal impact that this restructuring change is going to have. Tiffany, are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think personal, things aside, right? This directly affects our patients and the staff, right? So EAU and the ADT are essential to expedite the flow and essential to get the patients in and complete their admissions, transfers, discharges. We only have 3 ADT nurses that work across 5 different med-surg units, PCU, ED, and express care. We may be a small unit, but we're very mighty, and the numbers that we produced outperformed 2 of our larger med-surg units. And with that said, we sent out a survey, and we really need the VMC nurses in the med-surg departments as well as PCU to please fill out that survey. We did a presentation with data and numbers for nursing administration, and we're moving on to the county exec and the Board of Supervisors as well. And we just really need everybody's support to be able to advocate for us, but also for yourselves, because we need a hospital-based ADT. These nurses work very hard. We're only open during the hours in which the data shows that we're needed. We take patients to clinic appointments, we do downgrades, admissions, discharges, transfers. We take patients up from the ED. Sometimes you may call us, we're not available, but it's because we're helping other people, and we just kind of go in order and work with the nursing supervisors as well to try to go where the need is, basically. So we need your support. This is really going to impact your workflow, especially with TOC Pharmacy closing their bedside services come June 23rd. We go help and pick up the medications and get the patients out and, those sorts of things. So there's a laundry list of things that these staff do. And it's essential that we stand by each other and help to make sure that our patients are not going to be affected, as well as, you guys on the floor as well. So please make sure that you fill out that survey. We'll send out a reminder. And at least for EAU and the ADT, we'll continue to push on that.
Thank you. I did just want to add in that there are other restructuring things that, sorry, go ahead. Susie, you have something to say?
There's just a question related to this.
Sorry,
I
go
wanted
ahead.
to answer
Yes,
this
yes.
before we
Go
move
ahead,
on to the other
please.
restructuring.
That's fine.
So it says, why are they forcing the EAU nurses to move to?
Where are, yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea is to put the nurses to the floors, essentially get rid of the ADT and put the nurses in whichever units need staffing the most.
Go ahead.
Okay,
To the
thank
next question, Abby.
Okay, so unit restructuring is the next topic. on the menu. So Kim Johnson, who is the leader, she is the CN.
It came from Andrea. So,
It came
so
from
it started from
Berlin.
Andrea, but
Yeah.
Andrea is currently on medical leave. And so, you know, Andrea and Kim, and they get with other nursing leaders, wanted to you know, they have to meet a target, and we don't agree with how they came about meeting targets, right? Because when I go speak to the Board of Supervisors or I make public comment, I'm getting messages and emails, hey, do you have time to talk? And that's really unfortunate. Like Danielle was saying, we get informed of these changes at the very last minute, like 2 weeks before, or actually a week before, they're gonna do the budget workshops. And how do we get together to organize us so that we can all show up at the chambers and, you know, be united when they're giving us such little time, right? And it's just really concerning, but it comes from our leader, Andrea, and I want to make that very clear. She is the CNE, she is the Chief Nursing Executive. And I have relayed my disappointment and how this information is being relayed and what their changes are without the input of the nurses is really concerning, because we know that we do the work, and without the nurses, this system would collapse. And you know, just speaking, you know, so what they're thinking, what they want to do, and we have to go through the meet and confer process. But this is after the fact that we brought it to their attention, that I go to the Board of Supervisors and say, like, these are the changes, and you're gonna put it in the budget without talking to us, and you're gonna have the Board of Supervisors, who we vote in, right? We are their constituents, depending on what district you live in, to vote on this. That is not okay. So they wanna combine CEU and TICU. Like, there's like a wall and everything that like separates them, and they want to combine them, remove 2 ANMs, have one charge nurse. CEU nurses have different competencies than TICU nurses. It's a big mess. It's to me, a big safety concern. And then they also want to combine 3 RRU with 3 ARU, which we knew that they were gonna do that eventually, or want to do that eventually, because they've been trying so hard, because they disagree with us about the acuity and the census of the 3 RRU patients. So that's the restructuring that's coming down.
Yeah, so these are just units at VMC that we are currently aware of. But make no mistake that with the kinds of impending budgetary issues the county is facing, they will be looking at other areas to do similar restructuring and reorganizing. One example that I'm personally aware of is that recently administration has decided that at O'Connor Hospital, that the assistant nurse managers have been primarily or almost exclusively working in administrative roles. So meaning they have not been in bedside care, whereas at VMC, the ANMs tend to do about 80% of the time they are actually on the floor as charge. And so one of the areas that administration has decided that they would like to descend upon is to make that change and have the ANMs at O'Connor Hospital begin their duties as charge. This is another topic that we are pushing back on, but things continue to come to light, you know, almost weekly, if not daily. We become aware of changes that administration is planning. And, you know, usually by the time we're made aware of these things, they've already planned for it. And sometimes the plans are already in the works. There's been discussion of how they're going to reopen the L&D at Regional Medical Center. And we've already asked them for how they plan on staffing that unit, because we already know that L&D at Valley tends to be very short-staffed, staffed with a lot of extra help nurses that are basically like work to the brink. They're used, they're, you know, fighting over very limited codes. And this is like a problem that's been ongoing for many years. So we've asked them what their plan is in terms of how they're gonna staff the regional L&D, if that's something they truly want to reopen. And so we're working on that as well. But I just wanted to like let you all know that if you guys hear of anything, if you hear breaths of things, changes, if you hear, you know, management talking about these things in your units, like please come to us, let us know, say, you know, I've heard this rumor. Sometimes it's a rumor and sometimes it's reality. And sometimes it's reality and we didn't even know about it because we're being like gate kept out of these discussions, like I said. So does anybody else have anything more to say on that topic?
There's a couple of questions.
Do we want to keep the questions for the end or?
This next question pertains to
Go
this
ahead.
topic.
Sure.
And we asked it actually at the O'Connor Town Hall with Chrissy, and will the county offer early retirement, the golden handshake? Is this a RMPA negotiation or a county decision? I don't know if it's to the restructuring, any kind of restructuring, re-engineering, that's a county decision. Anything with the budget is a county decision, not RMPA's decision. And we did ask Paul Lawrence at the O'Connor Town Hall. We didn't say a golden handshake, but we like alluded to that. And he said that he's willing to have a discussion with RMPA at a possible meet and confer, I believe was what he said.
Okay.
But that's all we got from
Okay.
as a response.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else have anything to say about unit restructuring from RNPA? Okay, next. Oh, sorry.
Did you bring up O'Connor's unit being closed, the family center? Did you mention that at all?
I did not.
So there is a question on that, and there is rumor that it's going to be closed, but when we actually did ask Paul at O'Connor's Town Hall also. And they are considering it when we asked Paul at the Town Hall, and a lot of doctors are also discussing it, and Paul said they're doing an analytical review and looking at the budget and how it, you know, would impact this area and BMC. And I think they're anticipating that because of them opening the L&D at RMC, and the doctors that give birth at O'Connor actually have their clinics across from RMC. So it's not a rumor. They are talking about it and they are reviewing it, is the answer we got from Paul.
Yeah, I didn't mention it just because we have not heard word that this is a confirmed that it will be closed. Obviously, this is gonna have to go through a meet and confer process with us. We will fight in any and every way we possibly can, including and not limited to, you know, trying to maintain the unit staying open, keeping the nurses in their same shift, keeping the nurses in their same capacity, keeping the nurses in their same role as much as possible. But what's unfortunate is that the county does have unilateral power to make a lot of these changes the way that they've determined is the most advantageous for the enterprise. So of course, we will advocate and we will fight and we will push, and we need as many nurses as possible to help us with that, because None of us are L&D nurses. We all care deeply about the family center and L&D. We care so much about the work that you do for our community and your patients. But when it comes from your mouths, it's always, always, always the most impactful to the people who are making the decisions.
Yeah, so they're asking about the family center, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if that's different than L&D, and maybe it is, because I don't know all the units at O'Connor, but I know that there's talks about closing the L&D at O'Connor. So I'm assuming that's all one area, correct?
I believe what we have, hi guys, it's Chrissy. Family center is implying mother, baby, and L&D, so that whole center where families would be born and taken care of afterwards will be put, per rumors, would be closed. It is one of our lowest census areas, but at the same time, it's very well utilized and something that's really going to screw with it's going to affect everyone. Even just understanding without having a labor and delivery nurse on the floor, and now have emergency nurses who are not specialized in that extremely special center of delivering babies are not going to be delivering babies. There's just so much that it impacts, and that's why it's so important. You guys are going to hear this common thing of, we need you to step up, we need you to help. It's not just about what unit you work in, it affects everyone. Everybody's going to be affected by this cuts. So it's so important that you understand that when we're asking for your help, we need you to stand up, whether you work there or not, whether you're a labor nurse or not, whether you deliver babies, whether you know where mother and baby even is in the hospital. We need everyone's hands in right now. That's why it's called a union. We need you guys all to unite to help us out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chrissy. So a lot more to come on that. Please, if you're on the line, you have more questions, you would like to join meetings with the powers that be, if you would like to join us at the Board of Supervisors, if you would like to get more involved, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to walk hand in hand with you all. Next on the docket is PPC. Henry, do you want to talk about it?
Hi, everyone. Yes, thank you, Danielle. So I'm really excited about this topic because as some of you may know, we have in our contract professional performance committees, which are committees of nurses just like you, elected by nurses just like you, that meet on a monthly basis to organize and speak with bedside nurses about the issues that affect your patients and your practice, and make recommendations to nursing administration on how to improve nursing practice. And so RNPA over the next several months is going to be going through a huge campaign to educate and organize nurses about the PPC. And so we will be having elections. And so I wanted to put this out there that if anyone would like to be part of these committees, to reach out to myself or one of your organizers. The meetings occur monthly. They are either on paid time or on comp time. So they're officially a part of our contract. And it's a really great opportunity to be empowered and to empower the nurses at the bedside and to empower yourselves to shape your practice. And so the meetings, again, occur monthly. If anyone is interested, please reach out to us. We want to make sure that everyone knows about these meetings. They're a great opportunity to organize the nurses in your facility, to bring that collective union power to bear and hold management accountable for the work that they have you doing and for the care that you're able to provide your patients. So again, please reach out to one of your organizers or shoot me an email at henry@rmpa.net. I'm going to quickly review the timeline just so you guys have an idea. I won't take up too much time here, but the nomination period will start in August. So you guys will be able to nominate someone in your unit to represent you, or more than one nurse to represent you from your unit. And then the actual elections will occur from September 18th to the 24th. So everyone here and everyone in the facility will have the opportunity to vote for your representative on the PPC. So if you want to be that nurse, or if you know a nurse that you think has the leadership potential or is a leader and has the trust and respect of her colleagues to be on this committee, that's the kind of nurse that we want representing you. So please, again, reach out to your organizer or henry@rmpa.net, and we'll make sure that we loop you in. We're gonna have several training sessions before the elections to make sure everyone is aware of exactly what the PPC does and how it functions. If there are no questions, that's it. I'm just really excited about this for you guys.
Thank you, Henry. Okay, next on the agenda is our CEU class. Everybody loves them. They're going to be so much fun. So the next class we have, Bobby Masenda, our wonderful education chair, has organized for us. It will be Recognize Early Warning Signs of Clinical Deterioration by the speaker Alice Benjamin. It will be at the Campbell Community Center. It will be August 14th. And breakfast and lunch and CEUs will be provided, and we hope to see you all there. We will be sending a flyer, we will be sending a link, we will do all those things, but I just wanted to let you all know so you can have it in your brain. August 14th will be the date, Campbell Community Center. Woohoo! Next on the docket is the SLRH Town Hall. We wanted to let you all know that that is coming up tomorrow. We are super excited to get Paul Lorenz back in the hot seat and ask him all of our burning questions and get him to answer them. He is the CEO of our healthcare system, and he is in charge, and he is your boss's boss's boss. It's his boss. And he will be there. And James, I would like you to speak about this.
Yes, hi guys. We are very excited about Paul coming to Little St. Louis. We have had concerns for a long time. Our NPA has been representing you, going to Paul with his meetings and representing your concerns. However, he is being told something totally different from his administrators. So we have arranged this opportunity for you to speak up, for you to relay your concerns directly to Paul, and that we can have some of these concerns addressed. So please join. There's a Zoom option, and we look forward to seeing you there and hearing from you. Thank you. Oh, it starts at 11 a.m. and goes to 12 p.m.
Thank you, James. We really hope to see everybody there.
Yeah, and the CEU class, I hope no one tried to like write that down. We're gonna send a blast about it, so you guys will get the information.
Okay. That's all I've got. We went through everything.
I just have one more question on here. If you guys have any questions, you can unmute yourself or write in the chat. One of the questions why are A&Ms part of this union? Shouldn't they have their own union? So we've been representing A&Ms for as long as I've been here. I don't know, Tiffany, if you want to add to that. They're part of our MMBA.
I mean, A&Ms have been in the union since our existence, and if A&Ms wanted to organize themselves and get a different union, then certainly, you know, that's their right. I mean, I think over the years we feel that yes, on some instances there's a conflict, but also there is also that opportunity to keep the A&Ms close and keep them more in line with the clinical nurses. I think that's, you know, been the sentiment or the opinion of, you know, a good portion of the board members. Some would disagree due to certain conflicts or otherwise, but I, as an A&M myself, feel that it's beneficial to keep the A&Ms, especially that they're a part of the management team, to be able to keep them close and keep them a part of the same union as the clinical nurses and educate them on our contract so that they can help to spot any violations and such. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
I just wanted to add to it a little bit. I think it's, you know, in some instances, some people might see it as a conflict, but I see it as an opportunity, a pathway. I think it's fantastic that our A&Ms are actually part of our bargaining unit because we outnumber the management by that much more. And make no mistake, our A&Ms, yes, they are our managers, but they are part of our union. So in that sense, we have, in essence, I mean, we have powerful players up there with management. And more, yes, Henry hit the nail on the head. More nurses means more union power. And by maintaining our support of our A&Ms who communicate directly with management that are not in our union, they can work to help to support the clinical nurses in their bargaining unit, and our union becomes that much stronger. So James, you have something to say about that too?
Yes, I know you wanted to mention this, but we have had our A&Ms who have been part of the board in the past.
Yes.
We have one now.
Currently.
We have them
part of the
currently.
Yes, and that they are for sure 100% asset to working with our members and to getting information and to be able to fight for you all. So yes, A&Ms, we'd like to keep them.
I also wanted to piggyback on that also with the fact that it's such a blessing to actually have the A&Ms within the same bargaining unit as yourself. I offer you guys to speak to your A&Ms if you're feeling like they're working against you, and maybe try to remind them that they are you, that they are still nurses within the same bargaining unit as you, and that they should probably be liaisons and not working against you. Challenge your A&Ms to be your brothers and sisters, to not work against you, but to work with you. Stability, and I have to be honest, I had the same issue on another floor that I was on. I'm on a new floor now, and the ability to first walk in and say, hey, I'm your union representative. I want to work with you. So when things are not going right, use me. Ask me those questions so we can make sure that we're all on the same team. Working together with your A&M is going to save your life. I'm telling you, it makes your job so much easier. So I challenge you, if you have those A&Ms where you're like, why the hell are you even in our union? You might need to ask them if they remember that they are bargaining members of the RMPA and sisters and brothers to you.
Yes.
If I could add to that, I just wanted to share that I've worked with many nurses throughout the country, and I can tell you that more nurses equal more power when they're united with us. And the same works, the conflicts, there can be conflicts of interest sometimes between assistant nurse managers and bedside nurses. But one thing that I would also add is sometimes there are conflicts within bedside nurses themselves, right? And so when they choose to separate themselves from the union, that's their choice. They just, they're not contributing to the strength of the union. But there should never be any doubt that anyone ever has. The bedside nurses at RMPA far outnumber the assistant nurse managers. So if there's ever any split between the more powerful group, of course, the bedside nurses are the most powerful. But the good thing is that the assistant nurse managers that choose to be involved with the union, they're right on the thick of it with the bedside nurses, like nurses like Tiffany, right? And some of you may know Gardenia over at St. Louis. I wouldn't know the difference between them and a manager, even if I went around sniffing trying to find it, right? So those nurses as assistant nurse managers that are interested in building union power and supporting the bedside nurses, that's exactly what they do. And those nurse managers that are not, well, there's no difference between that at all, because they're just separate themselves on. So I just wanted to, anyone that has any concerns about that, if there is ever any conflict, those conflicts are addressed. But we are that much more stronger by having nurses like Tiffany and Gardenia and all the other pro-union assistant nurse managers that are part of this union. And just like bedside nurses can be anti-union, so we have anti-union assistant nurse managers, and they are not involved if they choose not to be involved. So I just wanted to put that out there because that's something to think about.
So just so that I addressed the nurse, they wrote a response to our comments, and I just want to add a comment to that. I've never had an issue with my A&Ms and maybe I'm a little privileged or spoiled, but I think that they followed the contract and, you know, and having us, like Christy said, challenge them or, you know, to abide by our contract. But I mean, my A&M, he was on the roof of a car during our strike leading a chant. I mean, we do have good A&Ms, and just like Henry said, there may be floor nurses who are pro-management and who don't want anything to do with the union, right? And so this nurse at management mixed in with the rank and file union is a massive conflict of interest. I've never heard of such a thing. If you have to challenge the A&Ms to be a union brother or sister, it's probably a conflict. So like Tiffany said, if the A&Ms wanted to decertify themselves from our union, they have every right to do that, but that is upon themselves. Us as a collective, as a union, we would never remove the A&Ms from our bargaining union. They've been here since the very beginning. Somebody said, sorry, I just logged in. I have questions about using ed time. Currently due to tight staffing, I have to work my status 0.5. So I take classes on days that I am not scheduled to work to keep up with license renewal. I was informed that I may not get paid for ed time because it is over my code, and is 1 CE equivalent to 1 hour of ed time. Can I convert ed time to PTO if I am not getting paid using my ed time hours? Let's write that down. So they should be scheduling you during your code.
Yes.
And because it's part of your job and requirement. And if they can't because of staffing and operational need, which I don't agree with, then there should be no issue with overcoding you. I would really recommend this nurse writing to us so that we could further discuss offline and let us know like what hospital you work at so we could talk to you with an association rep.
But you should, I mean, just as a rule, just so everybody knows, you should be allowed to convert your ed hours to PTO, or you can elect to get paid cash money for that.
Even if it's on over, I think, and that's the question. If it's over code, doesn't matter when it comes to getting the PTO, the education add back to PTO. So
correct.
Yeah.
Even if it would be putting you into like in excess of 80 hours of pay period, it's considered non-productive time. It is not used in the calculation of overtime. And so you can opt for that. Even if it's pushing you past 80 hours in a pay period, that's fine. It's not overtime. They need to pay you straight time cash money or conversion to PTO. So yeah, if anybody ever has any problems about that, please let us know.
Yeah, and 1 CE does equal 1 hour.
Yeah, 1 CE is 1 hour.
But just please reach out to us so we could further assist you. The next question is, why is administration looking into?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, good afternoon, Union. Yes, just I kind of see in the text that you guys talk already about the golden handshake. Just to talk a little more about that, you know, we older nurses, we see all the stuff that's going on. And if you could help us out with that golden handshake, you see, to save some money for the county. It'd be expensive, and you know, and if you guys could put it on the table, you know, if they could give a small golden handshake to the nurses for the older ones, and there is many younger nurses eager to do this. That would be nice if you could help us out, and hopefully that helps them with the budget too.
Yeah, we'll certainly advocate for whatever we can. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
And we'll ask you again tomorrow at the San Luis Town Hall.
Just to make it sound, because I saw it in the chat that you guys got going on, but just to make it sound, there's many older nurses that are more than willing to grab one of those golden handshakes and give the opportunities to the new ones that they're eager to learn.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Susie was reading another question.
Why is administration looking into closing units and combining units when they open so many new director positions that makes $500,000 each year? Agree. Like Tiffany said, we agree. I've been talking to James, the county CEO, in our monthly meetings. I've been talking to the board of supervisors. We are very top heavy. We're very aware. I have no explanation, but we do make them aware.
And just so you all know, this is something that we go off about at the Board of Supervisors. There's a time when you can go and actually speak with the Board of Supervisors, who are the powers that be above the CEO of our healthcare system even. We tell them, hey, the nurses are drowning. Why are you hiring more people to fill desk positions up at the top and to manage and organize when we have the answers down here? You don't even talk to us. And we are the ones performing the work. Hello. And it would be awesome if we could get like 500 nurses to come and speak for a minute each at a Board of Supervisors meeting. Oh my God, that would only be like 1/8 of our membership, not even. So if we could get that one day, oh my gosh, they would have to listen to us, you guys, about this. It's ridiculous, the decisions they're making.
We actually, Danny, I know you probably remember this, and for the other nurses that are on the line, we actually presented that same exact question to Paul Lorenz at the VMC town hall. And I would love for you guys to keep asking that same question, because they need to hear it over and over again. As we're making all these huge cuts, cut where it needs to be cut at, Joe. Seriously, like, cut the fat. So we need you guys to keep asking these questions and making sure that they're aware that we are not just have our heads stuck in healthcare and our patient bedside care. We're wondering what the heck is going on up top as well. So those questions need to keep being asked to people who can actually answer questions, like Paul Lorenz.
Yeah,
Yes.
They are removing one of the nursing executive positions, and this is public knowledge. It's part of the budget packet that anyone could look up. We could send it out also. It's the what's her name? Karen Kettner, the nurse practitioner, nursing director. So they are deleting that position. Somebody said, any update about vacation requests? Can I request sick leave during probation to take care of sick family members? Yes, you can request take sick time.
Oh,
But it doesn't impact your probation though, like depending on how long you're out.
I see that somebody just put in the chat, members' right to representation. I'm so sorry, I did skip over that. Just really quickly, I just wanted to let you all know that there have been circumstances where management has called nurses in for things like feedback or just to ask a few questions, and nurses have gone in and found themselves in the midst of an investigatory interview that they did not realize that they were having. This is not nice practice on the part of the management, but it is a known tactic that they do to try to minimize union rights. So I urge you all, especially if you think you might be in trouble for something, if your manager asks if you're free to talk for a few minutes, you need to ask your manager if you know, you need to have your union present, like, or if you can have your union present, or could this potentially lead to any disciplinary action in the future? I would like to have my union present, especially if this is in the middle of your shift, if they want to pull you away from patient care to have an emotionally fraught conversation, or if you're worried that they're going to use your words against you, or just if you just want somebody there with you as witness, please invoke your rights and say, I would like to have my union present. Please, 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 please. Everybody has the right. You can ask the question. You do not have to speak with them immediately. It is your right to have union present. So that is what I wanted to say about that. Sorry, go ahead. I'm so sorry that I missed that part, guys. There's more questions.
Any updates on recruiting RMC nurses to RMPA membership? Henry, what is our membership signups for RMC?
So our membership, let me just say, I'm very proud of my nurses at RMC. We have the highest membership rate at RMC from like 99.99%. In addition, our nurses at RMC appreciate the impact that being public sector nurses can make in electing and firing the bosses of the county, the Board of Supervisors. So we have about half of the political action contributions from RMPA come from the fabulous ass-kicking nurses at RMC. All of my nurses are ass kickers, but I'm the RMC rep. And so I'm gonna give my shout out to my nurses. And then also, but I think that we might be asking about actually hiring additional nurses. So there are about, I don't recall the exact number. I think it's 35 or 55 vacant codes that the county has at RMC that we are currently under investigation to find out where are the postings, when are they going to be posted, so that number one, our nurses at RMC can transfer if they want to transfer, excuse me, internally, and also so that we can attract and recruit new nurses to the bedside over at RMC. Thanks to the hard work of the nurses in reporting and filling out the staffing level objections and the assignment despite objections, the county has been working on and has actually secured additional HSA staffers. I think we're looking at 20 temporary travelers while they are recruiting additional HSAs. In addition to that, they have some traveler nurses that they're bringing in temporarily while we do the recruitment here over at RMC. So it is a work in progress. The patient census continues to be high. So we have some challenges there and with the increasing census, but we got to keep the pressure on by making those objections. The nurses in the PCU have a really great, phenomenal petition that they're presenting to the CNO and the nurse executive, demanding that in addition to all the staffing resources and support that they need, that they're demanding their nurse managers, the CNO and the nurse executive, put on some scrubs, get competency validation in the PCU, and pick up a shift every now and then to recognize the conditions that they're subjecting the nurses and the patients to. So we're doing a lot of work in that area. I hope that answered that question. I covered it from as many directions as possible I could. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any updates about the staffing changes at the main jail? I know that Debbie is still advocating and we're asking a request for information on staffing. I did send some information to Supervisor Betty Young and her chief of staff to review the staffing and how things are being changed, and they're under a consent decree. So we'll follow up, and I'll touch base with Debbie. Is it true that clinical nurse 3 can perform coordination assignments? If it is true, then what is the difference between clinical nurse 3 and coordinator who are under RMPA? I haven't heard anything about that.
Do you mind emailing us with a little bit more specificity about that question, just because we're a few minutes over and we want to understand a little bit more about what you're asking.
Did Susie state that they are doing away with the MP director position? Yes, they are. They're deleting that position. If so, who will the MP's direct person of contact will be? I don't know at this time, but I will ask Paul. I don't think we got that far in our conversation. When he shared, some of the changing and quote unquote restructuring, re-engineering that they are presenting to James Williams and the Board of Supervisors, but Lynn, we'll get that information to you. Please shoot us an email to remind us, and we'll get it out to you. I don't know. I am not going to read that comment from the nurse. I think they actually wrote that, but I would really appreciate if everyone could be respectful. Just know that we're also human beings and we're not perfect. So I don't appreciate comments like that if they were directed toward us. So I'm not gonna read that comment out loud. Oh, Alan, our other VP, please don't forget to do your CEs for your restricted education leave. Yes, the deadline, well, it's not yet, but it's coming. I've been trying to pick up shifts and have applied for transfer opportunities to RMC, have gone in an exam ID earlier this month, but I'm wondering what the timeline looks like as far as being able to answer the supplemental questions.
iPhone user, if you could give me a call or send me an email. I'm not quite sure what you're asking, but I'd be more than happy to help. My number, I'm gonna put it in the chat, but you can also shoot me an email and we'll be happy to talk about it so we can get some clarity. And I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead, Susie, if that's okay, to answer the question. If anyone is having trouble picking up shifts at RMC, please reach out to me. I'm putting both my phone number and my email address in the chat. If anyone is having trouble picking up shifts, I really want to know so that we can address those issues, because I'm sure the nurses at RMC and especially the patients would be happy to have you. So I have my contact information in the chat.
Tabin, you're asking, can we see what you sent? I'd like to see what was sent. Tabin, I'm not sure who you are, so if you could identify yourself, that would be great. Please shoot me an email, susie@rmpa.com, and we can have a further discussion. Donnet, sorry, they said it wrong.
Yeah.
Donnet. It's also on the RMPA website. You could include RN exec and include Debbie. Maybe you should ask.
We did
the
also,
managers.
oh, sorry, I was just going to add, Susie, that we did also send out multiple email blasts to everybody to pick up shifts over there at RMC
Yes.
with the contact information of who they should reach out to if they were interested.
I know that there are many nurses from within the county that are picking up shifts at RMC, but if anyone is having any challenges picking up shifts, I want to know about it so that we can hold management accountable, because there's desperate need at RMC for nurses. So please reach out to me and we can work on that.
Okay, Tabin said maybe you should ask the managers who have expressed interest in RMC. I'm not sure what that means. And that's all the questions I have on the chat. If anyone wants to unmute themselves, we'll go for a couple more minutes.
Tabin, feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions you'd like to ask or clarifications on these questions that you posted in the chat.
Yeah, and the information that was sent to Betty was a audit that was conducted by the county. Cheryl Soloff did that audit, and it's open to the public, and that's how I was able to find it on, I just Googled like custody health audit, and it talked about staffing and all, you know, how understaffed custody health is, and to keep that in the forefront of the Board of Supervisors if, you know, the county doesn't share with us if they have plans on cutting, and how this, you know, the core staffing has decreased, and it's very concerning. So that's what was shared with Betty. But like I said, Chapin, feel free to shoot me an email and we can have a further conversation.
Oh, yeah, people are also asking, why is county hiring travelers at RMC when people are still seeking transfer opportunities? Yeah, our NPA is fighting this tooth and nail. We do not think that it is the right decision for the county to be hiring travelers at this juncture. We continue to try to reach out to our members to allow you guys to pick up overtime, overcode shifts, to really bridge the gap between management and nurses that are willing to work. We need your help. If you're being turned away or you're ignored, please let us know. We understand that there is a critical staffing need, and at a certain point, if we are unable to fulfill that need with people who want to pick up, people who want to transfer, etc., if we are unable to bridge that gap, we are going to have to capitulate to make sure that the patients are safe. So at a certain point, they're going to reach a brink where we're going to have to say, okay, we understand you guys have this need and the nurses and the patients are not safe. In the end, sometimes we do have to allow them to go ahead and move forward with travelers, even though we hate it, we don't love it, and we think it's wrong and they should do other things to first, they don't always listen to us. Anybody else want to say anything? We're over time. We went 10 minutes over. Hey, so I'm really, really excited that everybody came out today. Thank you so much for your input. Thank you for your questions, your involvement. Please reach out to us if anything did not get addressed. We love hearing from you all, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Please reach out to us. We love you all. Thank you so much. In unity and solidarity.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.